Monrroe here again, coming at you with another short little tutorial. Going to give you a quick run through of some of the parallel effects that is kind of a default in all of my tunes, and I think they just glue the track as a whole together, and I think it's worth showing them because I use them throughout the sample pack, and I think it'd be just good to show you what exactly they do, because I get asked a few times whenever I've put clips of stuff on Instagram, whatever, of what exactly my ridiculous amount of sends are for. But yeah, so I'll quickly run through them now and I hope it helps. So yeah, here we go. I've just got a little idea here together, which is completely made up of sounds from the sample pack. So everything from the drums to the bass to the Atmos to the little effects bits, all from the pack. Nothing too exotic. I just thought I'd put something together to demonstrate what my parallel sends do. So yeah, here we go. This is the track, or the little demo. So yeah, so these are my sends here. On A, I've got just a reverb, which is quite nice. I use this a lot for like vocals or more musical elements, and I think just having them all running into this reverb can help add to the atmos of it all. Literally just a little decay time, tiny little size, not much going on. But yeah, mainly used for more musical elements. And again, with this delay, very just simple delay. Again, mainly used for more vocals and musical elements, and it just, for the same reason of the reverb, it just adds a nice bit of depth and adds to the atmosphere, I feel. And then from C to E, what we've got is parallel compression, but for the whole track, which these three I think help glue together the track as a whole really well, as long as you use them quite sparingly, because they're quite extreme cases of parallel compression, so you want to use it in small amounts. So on C, I've got like a notch band, so I've cut out the complete kind of mid section, so we're just affecting the low region, the top end, and then basically just slamming it into a compressor, so it's just a super compressed version of the signal, which is just doing the lows and the highs. And then the D band, exactly the same, slightly less harsh than the compressor, but this time focusing just on the highs. So it can help bring out some of the highs in the track, like in the drums and that. And then E is a low band, so exactly the same as D, but instead of doing the highs, it's just affecting the sub end, which again can help kind of warm up your bass, basically. And yeah, so on F, I've got basically just a really extreme reverb, so it's got a really large decay time, and the size are both massive, and this is mainly used for like pad elements and sometimes keys. Use it really subtly just to add to the atmosphere, and it kind of creates this drone throughout the whole track, and I think it's only subtle, but it can make such a difference. And then also on that, I've got a sidechain compressor here to basically the drums can cut through a bit if this is getting a bit too much. So it's linked to this sidechain channel here, where I've got the full beat or the kick or just a snare. And yeah, I think that works. And having this just really helps the drums poke through a little bit. Moving on to G, I've got 2 Waves plugins, and I'm just literally using presets. Yeah, they're both just Waves drums plugins, I suppose. And yeah, got this one set to overhead. Haven't touched anything else. And this one's just on kick out. I don't know why it's those two. They just sounded the best for me. And I use this to send my drums to, and you'll hear what it does. It just kind of adds another bit of character to the drums, and I'll normally chuck a bit of bass through there as well, because it can help bring out the top end of a bass and glue that drum and bass together a bit, which is quite handy. And on H is just drum verb, so room for the drums, as you would get if you were recording drums in like a room, you'd get the room sound as well, and this is basically to emulate that. Again, yeah, I'll chuck other stuff through it, not just drums, but it's mainly there for the drums. So it's just a very small decay time, so you don't want to overdo it with drums, because otherwise it's just going to get really messy. But yeah, so I will add these to my groups here, and hopefully you'll be able to hear a difference. Again, it's only subtle, but I just think it helps glue stuff together quite nicely. So with the drums, I'll just solo them here, and I'll slowly introduce some of the drum room, and I'll bang that right up so you can kind of hear it as it goes. So that's like the extreme case. So what you want to do is kind of bring that down a bit. But yeah, I think it just adds a nice bit of character to the drums, gives it its own little space, and then chuck a bit of a G into that. So it just breathes a bit of life into the drums, and this is just drum fills, so I wouldn't really bother with that. And with the bass, I'd probably just chuck a bit of E in there, which is the low band parallel comp, and maybe a bit of the G, and maybe a bit of room. And there's not much highs in the bass, so there's not much point adding like any of the high band, but yeah, maybe a bit of C as well. So yeah, and then moving on to these little Atmos stabs. Chuck a bit of room in there, a bit of F, maybe a bit of that as well. So you can kind of hear that tail on the F there. So I'll just get that going a bit. And then yeah, moving on to keys, I'll do kind of a similar thing that I did with the Atmos. Maybe bit of that, bit of probably drum room as well. Maybe a tiny bit of that just to bring out the highs a bit. And then yeah, so I'll just show you before and after. Again, it's only subtle, but I just think it helps glue everything together quite nicely, and yeah, it makes a more coherent mix, I find. So yeah, so this is with and then this is without.